Now we will give a basic description of microevolution, the changes within a species. These changes are adaptations to changing environments. So let's look at the process of microevolution. First step, there are always excess individuals produced. If all these rabbits lived and reproduced, this is what our world would look like. But obviously they don't. There are excess individuals produced. Step number 2, the individuals are not all alike. They are different because of mutation, recombination, epigenetics, the differences built into our genetic system. The third step is natural selection. There's nothing mystical or difficult about natural selection. If this animal here in this picture was hungry, which of these fellows would have a better chance of surviving and leaving offspring? This is a simple illustration of natural selection. It just happens. The result of these processes is variation within a species. Here we have 2 lizards. Same species of lizard, they're just adapted to different habitats. The gray one lives on gray granite rocks in California. The red one lives on red sandstone in Arizona, and they are adapted to their environment. They are the same species. Microevolution is different from macroevolution. Microevolution is variation within an existing group. It does not involve evolution of new organs or new physiological systems or new body plans, new feathers, or anything like that. And it does not involve any new gene complexes. The process to make new genera is the same as microevolution. The same processes make just a little bit larger differences. A reasonable definition is that microevolution is small changes within a family. And this picture will illustrate this. Here we have several genera of meadow mice, including lemmings, and the differences are very small. Minor differences in color and a little difference in the cusps on the teeth and other things, but they probably all came from one original ancestor. Now let's look at speciation. This is the origin of a new species through microevolutionary processes. Definition of a species is a population of organisms that does not, in nature, interbreed with other related populations. So here we have a representation of that. We have a species of chipmunk. If that population of chipmunks gets divided up and they change a little bit, you then could end up with 2 species that do not in nature interbreed. So how does a new species originate? Well, there are differences of opinion and probably more than one process, but here's the best known process. It starts with geographic isolation. So in this map, you have a range of chipmunks that gets divided, maybe by a desert. Now there are 2 populations in different mountain ranges, and then they adapt through natural selection until there is reproductive isolation. They cannot interbreed. Here's a little illustration of what is involved. My wife is Korean, but it didn't bother her that I was a little bit different. But in the bottom, you see 2 chipmunks. The one on the right is from Korea, the other one is from California. And I would bet that if that California chipmunk tried to get friendly with the Korean chipmunk, she'd say, "Get lost, buddy, you smell funny and I don't know you." Animals are very choosy in who they mate with. They will only mate with someone just like themselves, whereas humans are more flexible in how we do things. There are 13 species of chipmunks in California. They are amazingly similar, and yet you can tell them apart. They know each other apart. From a practice, I can tell them apart by their calls, but they are extremely similar to each other. But they choose not to interbreed. They each have their range, and some of the ranges overlap, but still they do not choose to interbreed. Let's look again at that definition of microevolution. My preference for a definition is small changes within a family. And this process does not invent any new structures. They only adapt and vary within the range allowed by the nature of that group. In summary, microevolution involves small changes, probably within a created group with a cohesive genetic structure. It does not invent any new things like new feathers or new organs.